In the great words from the Joker, let's get this party started. A role model, I would not say for sure, but I just want to say it's been a long time. It's been a super long time since I last talked about Dead Rock, okay? And I'm so used to doing like weekly chapter reviews. When I fall behind, I'm just thinking like, Jesus, I gotta like do a stream, like just compiling like a chunk of chapters together and just talk about it. And then I remember I was like, wait, Dead Rock's monthly. So when I thought about it, I it was like it's monthly. There's more content to it. Got to figure out a way to work around that. Then I had another realization. I was like, well, this is Hero we're talking about though, and even if it's monthly, even if there is some like really great gems to it, it's not exactly hard to like dissect what's actually going on in like Hero stuff, and I mean that in the positive way, super positive way. But that being said, you guys, hey, what's going on? Lucky Cheese 7 is back again to give you guys another Dead Rock chapter live stream discussion. And you may have noticed in the title that it's only covering chapters 8 through 11. I know chapter 12 came out yesterday. And the reason why I'm not covering chapter 12 with 8 through 11 is because I want to dedicate that chapter for its own stream. Because I feel like that chapter also warrants a much more like broader discussion than I feel these past chapters do. Especially since because it is a monthly chapter, it's a little bit more easier to like manage, you know? So with that said, let's go ahead and dive into chapter 8. So chapter 8, given where we left off, okay, I should address that first. So we left off with Chaco, aka Zelecia, just introducing herself officially to Yakuto and Frey, and Hani pointing out that, yo, are y'all stupid? This is the bird. Like, look, got the scarf and everything. And I remember thinking that, like, theory that was going around for like a couple months. I was like, wait, is that really Chaco? Because it's like, yo, you got the same design, the same kind of like color scheme with the bird, and then you look at Zelecia, it's like, they kind of match. They kind of match in a way. And for Hero to pull something like that, I was not surprised. Like, again, coming from a guy who's read Rave Master like before it ended, from Fairy Tale, now Eden Zero, which is currently wrapping up. Still can't believe that. Coming to here, like I kind of have a grasp, not even a grasp, like I have a good grasp on like what Hero does in terms of like his storytelling and like how he likes to structure the story, but also have it in a way where it still kind of keeps you on the edge of your toes. And that's what I like always liked about Hero as a storyteller. Like even in Fairy Tale where he did admit, yeah, nothing exactly was planned out for the story as opposed to like say, like character backstories. That's the most Hero had planned out for that. But this one, I mean, let's keep one thing straight. This series was supposed to be short. And if y'all haven't been keeping up with Hero, this was like back in December, I think. He mentioned how he was getting some more ideas for Dead Rock. And that's gonna possibly like extend the story out, which I'm okay with actually, because Dead Rock in a lot of ways is different from Brave Master, from Fairy Tale, and like even to Eden Zero to a degree. In the sense of like you're seeing Hero tackle things he's kind of done before, but a little more amplified, especially in like the dark aspects of it. Because like Raven Master had some pretty dark stuff. I don't think anyone's gonna deny that. Eden Zero especially. But when you see with what Hero's been doing in Dead Rock, it's like, whoa, we're really going to that level. And he even said so himself. He said I might be taking Dead Rock in some places that I haven't been able to take like the previous three series into, which on the surface by itself, I was already like, okay, okay, I want to see exactly what you have in mind. And so far, at least like up until what I covered, the 7 chapters, it's been on point. It's been very, very on point. Which kind of gets you thinking, well, what about chapter 8? What about chapter 9, 10, and 11? Do they hold up the same flair, the same energy of the first 7 chapters? Which I should say, end of chapter 7 is also the ending of Dead Rock Volume 2. Because Volume 1 ends off with chapter 3. 2 ends off with chapter 7. And if we're really looking at, these string of chapters I'm talking about right now, this is all volume 3 content. From 8 to 11, that's all volume 3. And I know this because, well, hey, I've covered Attack on Titan on my channel for like, from like 2014 to when it ended. And obviously, knowing that information of like the monthly manga schedule, that did kind of help me out on like just gathering like intel and analysis. Like, all right, so the chapters come out monthly. They're usually like, like 4 chapters of volume. So I kind of apply that same mentality here with Dead Rock. Although, interestingly enough, if y'all have noticed, Dead Rock is the only Hiro Mashima manga, at least like the big ones, right? I know he's done like spin-off mangas like here and there for like Monster Hunter and whatnot, but as far as like Rave Master, Eden Zero, let me say this in order. From Rave to Fairy Tale to Eden Zero, each of those 3 series, their first volume always had like 4 chapters in it. Dead Rock's the first one that's had 3, and a lot of that does contribute to the fact of of chapter 1 being like what, like 80 plus pages, and already for like a monthly series, you'll get a lot of pages per chapter. Okay, so you take that into account, and it's like, well, okay, in that case, you technically do have 4 chapters because chapter 1 essentially makes up 2 chapters in length in that respect. So it's like, well, technically you do have 4 chapters, but chapter 1's just like massive in that respect. But let me just get on the chapter because like I'm already like 8 minutes in. So Dead Rock, we have the character profile of Raizen, and he's from the root Orochi. We know this. He's in Class 1F. Likes his sword. We knew that. Dislikes Yakuto. I can kind of see why. He's pretty good with the sword, but he got killed by. Yeah, let's not forget. This dude was like beheaded in chapter 2. I want to say it was chapter 2. But he was killed by the head chef, and after that, Mikoto like revived him as a zombie. So he calls this sword Princess. Favorite sword, I should say. But the reason for that is unknown. Which I do hope that's something Hiro does go into. Because if there's one thing I know about Hiro Mashima, and like the way he tells like his stories and like how he showcases like growth of the characters, the way we get into the backstories, they're really great. So I do wonder what Raisin's reason is for you know calling his sword the princess. In that respect. So chapter 8 is called Yakuto versus Cougar, and it's pretty simple. Okay, and let me explain why. So number one, Yakuto and Zelecia, they're trying to escape. That's the first thing. And you have Cougar's minions like ambushing him. And as soon as this happens, this is what I love about this, okay? Zelecia takes on her true form. And her true form, I'm not just talking, okay, let me not say true form, because she's already in the true form. I'm more so referring to her true power. Because her true power form, dude, it is pretty badass. Not gonna lie, like she's even like super cheeky about it, saying, "I'll show off my true powers then." And you see exactly what she does, and it's incredible. Okay, it's black magic, and the attire she has on super reminiscent of Zeref, like super reminiscent of Zeref, and she even says so herself, as that my root is within the confines of the Black Wizard, which, again, go back to Fairy Tale, Black Wizard was Zeref. So that's already three references in the series that we've had so far to Fairy Tale, with Zelecia being, her roots essentially being derived from the Black Wizard, aka Zeref. Then you have Yakuto, our protagonist. His root is the Black Dragon. Of course, ties back into Agnologia. Then you have Frey, our female lead. Her roots is fire. Fire wizard, right? Nazi. So already you have the in a way you kind of have the trifecta connection there. You have Zelecia, Frey, Yakuto. Your three, the big three, right there. Kind of cool too. But like, what I love about this is you see like how quickly she like dominates them with no avail, and I love that. Okay, I really do love that. And like Yakuto's kind of she's like, wow, which he gets a remark from her too. She's like, a black dragon and a black wizard. We make a good team. But now we can't ask them where Freyson is. And like as it's going down, you have Yakuto saying, too bad Mikoto's not here. She can make them into zombies. And what I think is kind of amusing is that that causes her to sneeze. And then we cut back over to Raisin. Raisin's like, you sick? And she's like, no, it's just a sneeze. And then Heinz over there in the corner. It's like, you ain't cold in your bare feet. Which has him going like, what's with the bare feet anyway? And the reason why she's bare feet is simply that she can absorb power from the ground. So this is more convenient for her. And Heinz like still just like in thought, just remembering what Yakuto did early on. You saved us before, so I owe you one. So let's get into Dead Rock together. So he's like contemplating on this. He's like, ah, shit. You know what? I'm gonna just walk out. And cut back over, sees Zelecia, that's it. Yakuto's a little confused. And she points out that the library is designed to show you whatever books you want to read. And what I think is super funny because early on in this chapter, like they run into like a dirty book, right? And Yakuto points that out. He's like, "So those dirty books," and you see how she gets like super flustered about that. She's like, "Shut up!" Basically, we can just ask the books where Frey is. There's no way a book that would just show us, and as that happens, you know, they're able to find the book where Frey is trapped in, Frey's place, Frey's location. What the heck? What is this library? And Zelecia is like, look, there's a map. Now we can go to Freyson together. I don't know about that. And they get sucked right into it too. Junior's place. Cheeky new kid's location. And then of course, this guy, I said the wildest baddie in Dead Rock history is right in front of your town. Freaking cougar. Uh Yagato notices. Baddies don't hang out at the library. I come here because God doesn't come near the place. And Yagato's like, wait, why is that? Don't know. I think because he's already got all the books in his head. And it kind of gets Yagato thinking, like, maybe it's related to his weakness. For now, I'm going to kill you. For love, what Cougar says. And that obviously gets Yagato like super amped up. Fists colliding and everything. Actually looks pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Zelecia yells out, Yakuto, interesting power you got there, but you're no match for a red lion. Behold, my corpse brilliant! And that gets Yakuto still like monologuing, like, it's not that I can't use my power. He's just strong. And you're seeing how he's getting a bit battered up too. Like, what's that power? And it looks like all things are kind of lost for both Zelecia and for Yakuto. But then one person comes in to save them both. And it's Hein. Hein steps in and he's like, my debt is paid now. Yakuto's like, Hein's son. Oh, Zelecia's like, doggy? Which throws Cougar off. He's like, little Master Hein. And Hein says, long time no see, Cougar. Leaving both Yakuto and Zelecia confused. Like, you know each other? And she's like, little master. Like, it's a cool yet kind of amusing cliffhanger to say the least. Like, it's because you get the sense of like, okay, these two have some history together. That's gonna be pretty cool. But then to end it off with like just this reaction shot is honestly pretty fun, to say the least. And having said that, definitely I will say chapter 8 is amazing. Okay. It's really amazing just seeing like where it's going. And the only reason why I give it an 8 is an 8. The only reason why I give it amazing is because I think you could have finished up the fight here, but I also feel like that also does heavily lead into like chapter 9 also. Chapters 9 and 10 for a very good reason because a lot of chapter 8 for the most part, half of it was still kind of like setting up stuff. It's like getting the Frey's location, getting the Cougar. Yakuto confronts him. Obviously, it looked like everything was gonna go downhill until Hein showed up. And for that by itself, I think it is warranted and amazing. Which brings us over to chapter 9 with a character profile of Zelecia, aka Chaco. Root, Black Wizard, which is also known as the Yatagarasu. Class 1F, likes sunny things, dislikes scarecrows. And the notes say she usually takes on the form of a bird to suppress her magic power because she can fly. She was the first to pass the Dead Rock entrance exam. And she knows about Yakuto's curse. She's helping him take down God for unknown reasons. Which, like I've been saying, when it comes to character backstories and like revelations, those are easily like one of Hiro's biggest strong suits as a writer. Like when we get like revelations like, as to what characters are doing, he's pretty spot on with it. So I am really curious to know what Zelecia's motives are and why she wants to help out Yagato in particular. Maybe it is she secretly has a crush on him. It could be that too. But I think it's something deeper than just that. Okay? I don't think it's just because, oh, he's kind of good looking. Like that's already Frey's little shtick with Yagato, for sure. But Frey already has her big setup with the teacher. The one who like had like an army of the dead. Not Maxwell. Maxwell is already dead. And it's not Bren. It's definitely not Bren, and it's definitely not Lilith. I can't remember what his name is. So let me pull up the wiki just for a quick second. Okay, so we had Lilith, and okay, it was Lozen. Yeah, there we go. Lozen. Lozen's the other guy. In chapter 9, like I said, pretty straightforward too. And I say that because all you get in chapter 9, so Cougar used to serve Hein during his youth. Like he used to train him and whatnot. And The reason why Cougar despises him, simply put, is this. Hayden used to get like a huge load of attention, okay? Like all the like somehow Hein was like able to swoon all the girls, like even at like a super young age. And that kind of got Cougar tight. Like, I cannot believe this little shit. Like, how? How? What is this little run doing to like get all their attention? And I'm like left in the dust. No, I'm done. That's essentially one of the reasons. But what I think is really interesting is this, okay? It's like one of the lasting conversations they have in the flashback. And I will show you what it is. It's right over here. So, because it is a really impactful thing where it's snowing outside. They're like looking over the mountains. And Cougar's like, Little Master, I decided to go to Dead Rock. And he's like, Dead Rock? A demon ruler training institution. If I graduate, I can be a demon king. A demon king? And of course, related to chicks, the chicks will love me then. I just know it. And Hein, again, because he used to look up to Cougar. And he was like, I'm going to go there too. And he's like, the chicks are already into you, man. And Hein's like, no, it's not about them. I just want to get strong. Strong enough to be called a demon king. And then I'll save level 306, the world of eternal winter. People from other levels say it's our fault, the Finrirs. I'm going to change it when I'm a demon king. So, like, really, when you look at it, it's very endearing to see that side of the Hein because it's something we didn't really know about. Like when you really sit down and look at it, it's like, whoa, that's actually kind of deep. That is actually kind of deep, just knowing that. Like, yeah, okay, is it a little shallow on Cougar's part? Of like, yo, I want to be a demon king because I can get all the ladies to notice me. Yeah, ladies, come on, look me, big bad Kruger in the building. But Hein's thinking like the bigger picture, like, yo, we're forever stuck in a wind of winter. I cannot believe I just made that reference. He's like, we are forever stuck in a wind of winter. I just need this winter to stop. And I think it's kind of tragic considering his fate that we find out in chapter 10. But before I do that, I need to talk about the other stuff too. First of all, Frey is able to take on Jack and like just wipe the floor with him. It's actually really, really, really cool just to see that. And also Yakuto's refusing to back down against Cougar. Like even though like Cougar kind of had him on the rails in chapter 8, chapter 9, like you see like the relentlessness in Yakuto. He's like, nope, I'm not gonna do that. I'm here for one reason and one reason alone. They kill God. And because of that feeling, I'm gonna take you down because you're standing in my way. Black Dragon's Fist of Obliteration. Obviously, right? So he takes out Cougar. Hein's kind of shocked. Zelecia's kind of shocked too. And of course, like I said, Yakuto's sweating. And the big eye up in the building looks like you made yourself a friend who's really something, little master. That's what Cougar says. And looking through the eye, like I said before, is the vice principal, one of the 4 demon teachers, Bren. And he takes an observant of that. He's like, those students, don't tell me they're looking for the book with God's weakness. And essentially, that is where chapter 9 ends. Again, relatively straightforward, relatively simple, but at the same time, we're kind of moving the plot along in a good way. In a very, very good way, we are moving the plot along. And It's great. The big highlight for me when it comes to chapter 9 was the flashback. The flashback between Hein and Cougar was a big point. That was easily the strength of the chapter. It's also very cool seeing Frey hold out her own against Jack. I thought that was really, really cool too. And also just seeing Yakuto, despite being like beaten to the realm, beaten to like all hell, he's still saying no. I'm here for one reason. I'm not gonna let you, some lackey, get in the way of that. So that was really cool. And just for that alone, I'm gonna give it an amazing plus. It's an amazing plus chapter of Dead Rock. Now, chapter 10, the big one. Besides the amazing, beautiful cover page of Frey with like the fires in her hand, very similar to Natsu. It does, which it doesn't help that she has the pink hair. Let me say that right now. It doesn't help that she also kind of dons the same. It's not the same pink hair. Very similar looking pink hair to Natsu. Hairstyle is obviously different. Hairstyle is obviously different. But we get Hein's profile. It's actually very fitting too that we get it here. Root is Fenrir, class 1F, and he likes strength, but he dislikes peanuts. Okay. He's the son of the lord of Fenrir Fort Castle on level 306. He's a warrior who fights with an ice sword, with the power to freeze where it cuts. During the Dead Rock entrance exam, he saved Yakuto and was saved by him in turn. He's ta- he's attacked a turn, but he has a warm heart. And then we get to where we are here. Cougar's like knocked out. Yakuto's there, like just trying to catch his breath. Cougar's like chuckling and whatnot. And Yakuto points it out. He's like, "You let me hit you." Zelecia's like, "What?" And the reason why Yakuto points that out is because I'm a friend of your master, right? And Cougar's like, "I ain't no good. Such elegance. Don't let dwell in Monsco." It's in French. I know that. And again, I love Zelecia's expression over here because she's like, I never get what you're saying. He's laughing, and Hein's like, Cougar. He's like, little master. I idolize your strength. If I hurt you without intending to, I want to apologize. And Cougar's like, please don't. It's not your fault. I went and got jealous of you. But seeing you after all these years, it's got me feeling nostalgic. And you see Heinz smiling. Yeah, actually, that's something Zelecia points at too. He's like, wait, Yakuto, the puppy smiled. And Yakuto's like, yeah, that is a rare sight. And Cougar extends his hand out. He's like, would you be my friend again? Heinz like, yeah, I would be more than happy about that. And as soon as like Heinz about to like reach out his hand, big giant fist devastates, demolishes Cougar like right before his eyes. And that leaves everyone shocked. Yakuto, Zelecia, even like Hein. Hein's just like, bro, I just told him we were gonna be friends again. What the hell? And you see him like just yelling like Cougar's name out. And it's Bren. The vice principal has shown up. Silence is required in the library. So nonchalantly. And Yakuto, again, just thinking to himself, Bren, the vice principal, one of the four demon teachers? Don't tell me he's in charge of the library. And you see how that kind of pisses off Hein, rightfully so. He says, why you? And Hein uses a sword to make a mark on Bren. And this is like, oh, man. You see what happens? with Hein because he tries to use the ice sword to do something. He notices, like, oh, okay. Zelecia says we can't beat him yet. And Zelecia is like the smart one here out of the three. She's like, yo, Yakuto, puppy, we gotta run. And she points, and again, Yakuto still says, but we haven't found the book yet. And she's like, we can get that anytime. The library shows you whatever book you're thinking of, right? And that gets Yakuto thinking, like, the book that tells God's weakness. And it pops up. And Brent notices this. He's like, so that is what you're after. I won't let you have it. So, like, just as Yakuto gets the book, like, Brent has, like, some, like, super strange abilities. Oh my god. Definitely the definition of strange. And Zelecia's like, what the? Yeah, even Yakuto sees, like, his body. And it pushes Zelecia back. Of course, Yakuto says Chaco, and then that reverts her back into her bird form. Hein's still there. Okay, he's still ready to do whatever it takes. And Yakuto says Hein's son, but you see how enraged Hein is. He's like, how could you? He was my one friend in the world, and you, Ice Blade, Snow Moon, Flower Strike. Okay, and that does nothing to Bryn. That doesn't do jack shit to him. He's like shattered to bits. But again, only just a scratch. Like that's all that happened. That's just a scratch. And Bryn's like, this year's batch of first years are full of prep. I'm not sorry, not prep, pep. But that's enough. That's enough now. I won't let you go any further. Hein again is like kind of like left in fear. Now it's time for your punishment. And I mean, guys, 10 chapters. 10 chapters. And Hein's gone. Okay? Hein is like dead. Now, an argument could be made, well, Raizen technically died too in chapter 2. Technically speaking, yeah. But Mikoto's there. And what does Mikoto have? Necromancy abilities. So she'd be able to bring back Raisin. Now, in Hein's case, ugh, let me just say one thing. Ugh. Let me just say one thing here. It's different. Because what we find out, especially here, is one thing. I think it's in this chapter. I'm pretty sure about that because Yakuto's in shock, Chaco's in shock, and like she realizes like, um, we need to get away. Like, let's go. And even Bren like orders him like, yo, give me the damn book. Just give it to me. Y'all can walk out in peace. I ain't letting you leave with the damn book. So then we cut over. We cut back over to like the dorm. Where Mikoto's there, where Raisin's there. And she's like, I'm impressed. You made it out alive. And he's like, geez, you got the look of the devil. And then the reason why Hein is still technically dead is simply because of this. Because Yakuto asks, like, hey, Mikoto, could you bring Hein back to life? And she says, no, I can't. Like, if there's no body, there's nothing I can do. And Frey's like, so Hein and that lion are both dead. And Hani says, like, we even barely got to know him. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel super bad for Yakuto here because you see how he's like kind of contemplating, he's thinking about like the last thing Hein did. It's like, how could she? He was one of my friends. He was my one friend in the world. That was like one of the last words that we got. And give me just one quick second. Super, super quick second. Gotta love the phone calls when they kick in, but let's continue on. Maybe I could have been his friend too. That's what Yagato says. And again, poor guy is like breaking down. Like, he came to rescue me. And freaking Raisin's being a super dick about it. He's like, huh, you can cry for people. And Mikoto's like, boy, did you really? Like, what do you think he is? And then you got Chaco saying, have you lost your will to fight, Yakuto? And Yakuto vowing, like, this is his declaration in a lot of ways. He says, no, I'm ready to go to war. For my family, for my village, and for Hein and Cougar. I'm going to kill God if it's the last thing I do. Which, to me, still kind of tells you there's something else to Yakuto that we still don't know too much about. And again, Zelecia Chaco is relieved about that. She's like, whew, that's good to hear. We both got scared back there, but I did my job. With this, the book with God's weakness, God's root. And he's like, wait, what? What just happened? And then we come back over to Bryn's office, and he notices the book that he's holding. And I think, honestly, it's super, super funny that it's Plute. It's a book with Plute on it. So, Rave Master, Fairy Tale, Eden Zero was super brief. There's only like one little like scene with Plute in it. But Eden Zero, even though it was like super, super brief, and now you have this over here with Dead Rock. Even though it's only just a cover of a book. I think that's just kind of funny. And Bren's like, when did those little brats switch it out? God finds out about this. And you see like his veins popping, not just from his forehead side, but like from his eyes. All sections of his eyes. He's like, little bastards. And that's the end of chapter 10. Holy shit. What a chapter this was. I'm going to just say that right now. What a chapter 10 was, because first of all, Hein holding his ground for what happened to Cougar. Okay? Yakuto getting the book he wanted. That's obviously a big plot point revelation we got there. Number two, we got a big death, which is Hein. And because of that, Yakuto goes to war, essentially vowing to avenge Hein. And again, the only way Yakuto and Chaco could walk out is if they handed it, Bryn the book, which they did. And then we come to find out, no, Chaco just switched to that, which obviously gets Bryn like super pissed. Like, I'm like, oh, hell to the no. Am I going to let that happen? Hell to the no, am I going to let that happen? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. It's like, no, we are not doing this right now. And chapter 10 was a perfect cliffhanger. I'm going to say that right now. For a penultimate chapter of the volume, perfect. With that said, Chapter 10 is pure perfection. By all stretches of imaginations, it is pure perfection. So we've had amazing plus, now we're getting pure perfection. So we're, again, elevating within the volume, elevating within the contents of Volume 3. Volume 3, like thus far, has been peak. But then we get another character profile, Saru. And his root is the Great Sage, Heaven's equal. Heaven's equal. He likes bananas, should be pretty obvious given the design, and he dislikes monk Wait, what is it? Sanzang. Okay, the teacher put in charge of Class 1F after Maxwell died. He teaches history. In addition to his abilities to summon boulders, he can apparently perform a number of other mysterious techniques. Okay, I kind of want to know what those techniques are, but we'll see. And chapter 11 is called The Deep Cry. And if you notice what I put in you know, the title of this stream, I said The Journey of the Deep Cry, which obviously this chapter title is called The Deep Cry for a lot of reasons. Simple reason, honestly, if I really look at it. But Saru basically tells the gang, Raizen, Yakuto, Zelecia, Hani, Mikoto, like, I got a job for you. They're like, a job? We're students. Are you stupid? And Saru says, Dead Rock takes on requests from inhabitants of the demon world. Completing them is one of the extracurricular lessons that students do. And Mikoto asks, like, so what must we do? This request is from an old lady who lives in Deep Cry Forest. She's troubled by a gang of bandits who have settled in the forest. She wants them driven out. And that gets Frey, like, super stoked. Like, rooting out bandits, huh? And then Chaco, aka Zelecia, is just like, hey, an old lady who lives in Deep Cry Forest? Don't tell me. Is it Magu Maggie? The Seal Wizard? Like, you see how that kind of gets her, like, super amped. Like, oh my god, it's her? Don't tell me it's her that we're seeing. And Saru just says, yeah, that's what it says. And again, super amped up, super excited, squeaking and everything. And Yakuto's like, you know her? Know her? She's a super famous wizard. Of course not. And then Honey's like, the old lady who's in trouble? And again, Chaco, Zelecia says, can't famous people be in trouble too? I mean, it's fair. And then again, Zelecia just kind of like flies on over to where um Yakuto's at, and she's like, hey, I bet she can break the seal on the book. And that kind of gets them thinking, like, huh? And we flash back to 3 days ago. So obviously, between the end of chapter 10, beginning of this chapter, 3 days have passed. And like, you would think, okay, you have the book, you're pretty much set for the end game to take down God. And we come to find out it's not that simple. It's not that, okay, you can go to the library, pick up the book, we good. We're set for life. God is dead. That's not exactly what happens here. The book won't open. And Yakuto's like, what's going on? Like, I finally got my hands on a book with God's weaknesses. Why won't it open? And I love all the reactions we get over here because you have Frey just saying, want me to try burning it? And he's like, it's a book. And then you have Raisin who's like, want me to try cutting it? It's a book. And then Mikoto, I could try killing it. It's a book. He's trying to make it sound super simple. It's like, guys, it's a book. burning it, cutting it. I don't know how exactly you can kill a book, but none of those things are going to work here. And even Hani points at it, you're like, are you stupid? And Zelecia is the one that points out, like, there's a seal. It's a seal with powerful magic. Damn it. Present day. So after that, we're flash forwarding to where we are now. And again, Choco, Zelecia, super excited, super pumped. We'll unseal the book and get to meet a legendary wizard. Come on, get moving, hurry up. And then Saru says, hey, which gets Yakuto's attention. If any of you die, I'll pick up your bones for you. Like, the way Saru looks at them, I mean, he has no concerns, no remorse. He's just like, yo, I'ma just say, if y'all die, I'm gonna pick up your flesh. It's almost like he's expecting it. He's like, you know what? This is the fun part of the job. Whoever's not gonna make it out of this, I might get the bones. Which we see Deep Crab Forest, and Deep Crab Forest, I mean, look at this. Hiro with his artwork always been incredible. Always been incredible. Okay, even if you look at like say like the early like his early days working on Rave Master, like that artwork, even when it was still kind of rough and like early Rave, that shit is gold. Okay, the artwork is like really good, especially like when you're talking about like backgrounds and stuff. Okay, Fairy Tale, same thing. Like the scenery perspective is god tier. Same thing with Eden Zero. Under your quest, even though he's not drawing it, you can still kind of see it there. The Dead Rock, wow, just wow, super wow. That's just all I gotta say is just wow. Like look at the detail of this forest, okay? Like you've got the trees, you've got like dark energy that's like imbuing from like the ponds and whatnot. You got the snakes too. It's all good. Shoot, you could play like an I Spy game here with this. Well, let's keep going. So you see this, and everyone's just looking like, wait, what's with the creepy plants? Oh, I think they're beautifully poisonous. And Honey's like, why don't we check out the old lady's place first? And again, Zelecia is like super like tight about this. Like, hey, she's Magu Maggie's dirt dirt doll. And Yakuto's like just keeping it chill, like, okay, I just gotta see what's going on. And Frey notices this, okay? Frey notices that something's wrong with Yakuto. He's like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, yeah, something's been bothering me a bit. This seems too convenient. And then Raisin's like, oh? The book is sealed, and now here's a request from someone who can undo that seal. Could it really just be a coincidence? And Zelecia, like, you're overthinking it. First off, there's no way Magu Maggie would set us up. I don't think. Anyway, look, there's some weird thing here. And Yakuto's like, a level gate? What's it doing here? Huh? What's that? Haven't you ever gone through one to go between levels of the demon world? And I love this reference right over here because Chaco just says, I was born here on, on level 666. Level 666, triple six. Obviously, y'all should know what that number entails, okay? That is not rocket science. 666, obviously, especially for this series in particular, it's very fitting. I figured there were stars, or is that stars? There were stairs going between levels or something. There can be thousands of miles between levels. And I already know who's saying this. This is freaking Honey. Are you stupid? And Chaco's like, can you use these to go to whatever level you want then? And Mikoto says, in practice, you need a passage permit. and the gates will only take to the corresponding level. And Frey's like, I've never seen one in the middle of the forest before, though. It looks like it's not in use anymore. Did someone throw it away? How would you throw away something so huge? And as soon as that happens, dude, Honey being destroyed again, like, this is definitely a gag. I'm gonna just say it right now. Like, this is gonna be like one of the biggest gags in Dead Rock. Okay. Like, when's the next time we're gonna take out Honey? I'm gonna just say that right now. Cause like Honey can't catch a break. Like Yagato's like Honey's like even Chaco points this out. She's like, again? Again? Really? Why is it every time we bring this guy, he gets taken out? Mikoto notices an arrow. And like they're targeting all the arrows around. And Raisin's like the bandit. And Frey is super stoked. Like, they came to us? Must be our lucky day. Yagato's like, everyone. They're targeting us from up in the trees. And that gets Mikoto like exhilarated. She's like, seems it's so. Getting the necromancies ready. Whatever it takes. Getting them all up to the forest. And yo, this is cool, okay? Because you clearly see how jumped they get. They're like, what the hell? Like, what are these things? And she's like crafty, and Raisin's the one who's like, your power is as gross as ever. And Chaco's like, here they come. You see the monsters, and then Yakuto telling Frey like, hey, get back. And she's like, what? Love this reference to Natsu. I'm super fired up. This is a forest. If you use fire, and of course, got Honey, just put me back together. Oh yeah, we got. Oh yeah, we gotta help you too. So we got Raisin and Yakuto teaming up, which is really nice. Let's go, Yakuto. Yes. So they're teaming up, seeing what's going down. You got Mikoto with the necromancer corpses, which again, terrifying, creepy, but also really badass in a lot of ways. And she's like just sending him like straight to him. She's like, "All right, my," it's like, "All right, my little zombies, devour, have food." And they're like, "What are these guys? They're strong. That's not what we were told." And they get demolished and like chomped up everything. Any description you can find regarding these fools, they're gone. Straight up gone. Raisin's like, we took care of them all. Good work. Mikoto's like, is our job finished now? Hey, that was easy, is what Chaco says. Then you get Frey, he's like, I'm all good here. And then Honey over here, you made a mess out of me. Are you stupid? Let's head to the requester's home for now. And they get there. And again, Chaco's super excited. Look, it's the legendary seal wizard, Magu Maggie's house. I'm nervous. See? Right there. And oh my god, with the thing they start to witness. Like, you see Chaco Zelecia in like total shock. Same thing with Frey, same thing with Yakuto, same thing with Raizen. And you get Magu Maggie like just like pinned to her front door, like straight up dead. And Yakuto even says it too, like, don't tell me that it's Magu Maggie. And I know for sure that's Zelecia saying that. And again, Raisin, what happened? Frey, is she dead? Who could have? With Zelecia beginning to break down, it's like, Mikoto, please turn her into a zombie right away so she can remove the book on the seal. And Mikoto's like, yeah, I got you. Don't worry, we got this. And of all times, this guy, Mr. Giant himself, Bryn, the vice principal shows up, and like Yakuto already knows what's going on. He's like, this freaking bastard, like again, vice principal. And it's actually funny because Zelecia points out, she was like, "You bastard," and Frey's like, "Wonder if he killed her too." And he's like, "You can't just take the books out of the library." He's like, "Is this your job you're doing too?" He's like, "Of course it is. It would be easy to kill you all at school, but I need to retrieve that book without God finding out." And you got Zelecia just like like using her wing, like just tightening the book. Like the bandits were sacrificial pawns, and you see them all like grouped together. You got Yakuto, Honey, who's like now like surprisingly like, back in full form. Got a good idea as to why. Got Frey in the bag. Got Raizen. Got Mikoto, and again you got Child go off to the side too. And Mikoto's like, looks like we have no choice. I don't even got anything to do with this. Is what Raizen says. And then Frey says the old lady's gone now, so I can burn the whole forest down, right? And again, Yakuto's remembering exactly what happened in the last chapter. He's like, I'll avenge Hein. Goodness me. It seems you don't yet understand the might of those known as the four demon teachers. Let's say demon gods, demon teachers. We are given that title because we are nearly as powerful as gods. Which again shocks Honey, and he's like, gigant form. And oh my god, like the way this guy looks, definitely terrifying. For sure. Definitely terrifying in a lot of ways. Now then, let's begin our lesson. And as the cliffhanger for the volume, great cliffhanger, okay? Let me just say that right now. Super, super great cliffhanger. And I'm not going to go into predictions, obviously, because chapter 12 is already out. And I'm going to be saving that stream for tomorrow. But for chapter 11, I liked what we got. Okay? Like, especially with how Saru was, like, just giving off that look to them, like, right before they took off. Like, you knew some shit was about to go down. He's like, he's not worried or anything. He's like, oh, okay, I'll send y'all off on a job. If y'all die, I'll pick up your corpses. And then, we come to find out, nah, whole thing was a scam for Bren to show up. And with just leaving us off here, it's like, oh shit, like the one person you thought was gonna be the key to undoing the seal to God's roots, it's Jane here. Like, so now what are we gonna do? We're stuck. And to make matters worse, Red props. He pops in similarly to what happened in the last chapter. He's the reason again why Hein's dead, why Cougar's dead. So interesting spot to say the least, for sure. Okay. Very, very interesting spot that we're left on here with chapter 11. And I think it's also really cool seeing just how excited Zelecia is, because for a while we've seen her like kind of be a bit of a complaint. And when I say complaint, like, obviously like she gets a little ticked off. She obviously says like, "Hey, don't do that. Don't do this." She's funny in her own sense. But now we kind of get to see like her most like excited, her more like amped phase, which I think is funny. Definitely for sure. Also seeing Yakuto and Raisin team up just briefly, that was cool too. And also Mikoto. Woo! Dude, Mikoto was pulling the stop. She's like, oh, we're dealing with you guys? Come on, guys, let's go. Let's deal with our ambushers and just make hell out of them. That shit was good. Not gonna lie. It was some really, really great stuff to see. And just for that alone, pure perfection. So 2 pure perfection chapters, right? You have an amazing plus, and you have an amazing. So that kind of leads you guessing what is the chapter ranking overall for like all four of these chapters as a whole for the volume actually. Because like I said, 8 through 11 is all volume three. So for volume three as a whole, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It's an amazing plus volume. It's an amazing plus volume of Dead Rock, and I'm really excited to cover chapter 12. I'm gonna be really, really excited to cover chapter 12 soon. Obviously, it's not gonna be today because your boy does have a couple things he needs to take care of on his end, but definitely tomorrow, chapter 12 is coming, and ooh, that discussion is gonna be super, super fun, super, super fun. But with that being said, you guys, that's pretty much all I have to say when it comes to these four chapters of Dead Rock of this volume of Dead Rock, Volume 3. What was your guys' thoughts on these chapters? How did y'all feel about it? How do you feel about Zelecia? How do you feel about like just what's been going on in the story thus far? And how do you guys think, Yakuto, Frey, Mikoto, Hein, Chaco, Hani, how do you all think they're gonna be able to make it out of this? And with that being said, you guys, that's all I gotta say. I'm Lucky Cheat 7. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more Dead Rock content, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.